Hello from me and my creepy hands, and welcome to VEDA Day 8. I thought I'd start my day off with something fun and relaxing, and that's coloring in my adult folk art coloring book. I've been thinking I really wanted to finish the page that I started last week, and so I thought, why not record it? I've already done a few in this folk art themed book, but oh man, I forgot how cool that rainbow pattern one is, which I think might be my best work. I have a few other ones here. This one's pretty cute. This one's okay. It was my first one. It got a little weird. I was like, yeah, let's use that black Sharpie marker. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, let's get to coloring. I'm using an assortment of markers, some Sharpies, some of these fine, I don't even know how to describe these markers, but they're markers. And they don't do the best job, but it's what I have. So while I speed through this little coloring session, I actually didn't know exactly what Pennsylvania fractor was. I'm assuming it's folk art of some sort, but I did end up going on Wikipedia for a little bit, and this is what it said. Fractor is a highly artistic and elaborate illuminated folk art created by the Pennsylvania Dutch, named after the fractor script associated with it. Most fractor were created between 1740 and 1860. Fractor drawings were executed in ink and or watercolors and are found in a wide variety of forms. The written samples, the Tafshin, birth and baptismal certificates, marriage and house blessings, book plates, and floral and figurative scenes. The earlier fractor were executed entirely by hand, while printed text became increasingly common in later examples. Common artistic motifs in fractor include birds, okay, see that, hearts, yep, and tulips, as well as black letter and italic calligraphy. So I'm assuming this plant-like thing in the middle is supposed to be a tulip. Okay, anyway, moving on. So as I started coloring in the blue, I was starting to feel like this was the wrong blue pen that I had previously been using when I started coloring this page, and I was correct. However, I can't really do anything else to fix that, so we're gonna say that I did this on purpose. I just kind of did a couple flowers blue, and then I went in, and sorry for the bad angle, but I went in with a purple and picked a few flowers to color in purple. I kind of feel like this color is a little out of place with the color scheme that I chose for this, but I kind of like sneaking in purple whenever I can, so I did. So I definitely don't know what I was thinking of coloring this flower pink when the center already had a pinky magenta color, but oh well, I can't fix that now. Sometimes I just kind of zone out and don't know why I choose the colors that I do. I just sort of go with it, and apparently that felt right at the time. So that's what we're doing. Alright, it's time to tackle these suns here, as well as deal with the traffic that's going on outside my window as I record this. Excuse me, arms in the way. Okay, thank you. So I'm just going between the two suns with the different orange and yellow markers I have, and I had the great idea of making the sun's face sparkly with the sparkle markers that I have. I don't know if they're actually called sparkle markers. I believe they're called glitter markers, but I wrote down sparkly, so they're sparkly markers. I'm thinking maybe it was the way I was holding the marker, but I feel like the first sun that I colored in was a little streakier than the second one. However, I didn't want to go back to the first one and make it worse, so we're just going to have some different looking glittery suns, and I'm okay with that. But next up, I started tackling the tulip. So those weird stripe colors, I decided to color them blue, and then I made the petals orange. And while I still had that orange marker, I went around and colored the other pieces of the petal as well as the pot orange. using that marker until I ran out of battery and space on my card, and then I had to take a little break. And we're back. So now I'm just coloring in the pot that the tulip is in, and after that I have the petals left, so we're in the home stretch, baby. I do feel like taking the time to do something fun like coloring right now is a good idea. It feels like I'm accomplishing something, and especially with the way that my job search has been going, which slim to none. I have applied to a few things, but there's only so much applying and following up you can do in one day, and doing a little coloring session I think is therapeutic, and I highly suggest it. But anyway, so now something kind of funny happens. I decide I want to go back in with that orange Sharpie marker that I was using, and weirdly enough I couldn't find it. Found it! Yeah, that's right. I found the Sharpie marker in the fridge. It took me about 15 minutes looking for it all over the apartment because I guess when I got up to change the battery and get a new card, I stopped in the kitchen and I guess put it in the fridge with something else. I'm assuming, I don't know. I don't even remember doing it, but that's where it was. So I found it, and that's all that matters, but it's a weird place for me to put it. Anyway, back to the coloring. Now that I've finished coloring the pot, I'm just going in with that yellow Sharpie marker and finishing off the tulip petals, and voila, we're done! Overall, I think it turned out cute. I mean, it's a coloring page for adults, so you can't really go wrong with it. I'm not a huge fan of using those Sharpie markers, or just the markers in general on this paper. I feel like it makes it a little streaky and dark. Would love to use some watercolors or maybe colored pencils, but I don't have any. So we're just gonna be happy with what we have, aren't we, folks? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little coloring session video and that you're staying safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow.